My name's Denny, and we live in Santa Monica. I live in Santa Monica, and I've been homeless for approximately 6-7 years.
I'm Terry Madrid, and I've been homeless with him for 6 years. And what happened was we were refurbishing these apartments for this lady, and we worked for her for 4 years.
She promised us we'd never have to worry about a place to live again. If we did these apartments for her, she said we'd always have an apartment to live in. We could do like maintenance in the apartments and stuff. And as soon as the job was done, she turned on us and, just kicked us out. And we ended up losing our apartment, and we ended up on the streets. And that was a real hard to take, because I always had money. I always had a place to live. And so now we ended up behind the bank.
Back of Platinum Motors right there,
Yeah.
There's a building. We set up I built
like
a little hut.
Yeah. There was like a bunch of drunks back there, and they just go back at night and drink and party and tear it up, and graffiti on the walls and stuff. So we went back there and chased all them out, cleaned everything up. Because every place we go, we keep it real clean. Most people just tear a place up when they stay there.
Yeah.
But we cleaned it up real nice. And, it's been hard, but she was real depressed for a while. Right after we first lost our place and we were living in that patio over there, she got real depressed. And it was Christmas Day, and this girl I know had this little dog, Bambi, and she said, "Look, I found this dog running in the street. Do you know anybody who wants it?" I said, "Yeah, I know somebody who wants it," because she's wanted it. We've been married 23 years. She's wanted a little dog the whole time we've been married. She wanted a dog, and I brought it home on Christmas Day and gave it to her, and I'm telling you that it totally turned her around. There's no medicine, there's no drugs, there's no psychiatrist that could have any effect on anybody near 1,000,000 times what that dog did for her. It brought her right back from the depths of depression, and it brought her back, saved her life. And saved my life too, because if anything happens to her, I'm done too. People come by and say, "Hey, you want to sell your dog for $500? Man, I wouldn't sell a dog for $1 million. If you have $1 million right now, forget it. That dog is, I love that dog just as much as you love one of your kids." Most people think that, just because you're homeless or you don't have anything right now, is that you've always been that way, or that you're just a bum, lazy.
You
don't want to work. You want to just, and a lot of people are that way. There's a lot of people out here that are just lazy or just, don't want to work. But, there's a lot of people, too, that have just had hard times fall on them. And, have they worked their whole life like me and just had something bad happen, an act of God or something, and just wiped everything out, and, you ended up losing everything they had. And that's real hard, man. People don't understand how hard that is on somebody when that happens, because to go from having everything and then having nothing is it's really devastating, It really is devastating, man. So always have a little compassion for your fellow man, because, we're trying to get the housing from this shelter, and hopefully we can do that, and then maybe get something we can do to have a career where we can, learn about computers or something. Make some money in the world now, because it's hard to make money in the world now.
We just need a chance. Somebody give us a chance.
I was born in Newfoundland on July 5th, 1975, which makes me 36. And I have been on the streets off and on for 6 years. I was brought up in a very well-to-do family with a mother and a father. I was a very lonely child. I was an only child, and trying to make my mother happy at all times, and we never got along. I graduated from Cedar Break Collegiate High School, and I was in the military. I was training to be a medical paratrooper, because I have my first year nursing, and I'm scared to death of planes and heights, and I thought I could conquer it. And I was working 3 different jobs at the same time, because I was a single mother and trying to prove myself. And then I went to George Brown College, and I graduated with hospitality management, and still can't get a job because I have nowhere to live, and I just need to get in proper housing so I can get to see my children again. But the only job offer I've gotten is at a strip joint, and I'm like, you know what, I've had children, nobody wants to see me naked. So that's the only job offer, and it's pretty sad. And the reason why I'm on the streets is the father of my second child, Jordan May, she was born 3.5 months premature with cerebral palsy, and her dad was very abusive, and so we went to a parenting transition home, and he still found us, and I was having breakdown after breakdown, so I dropped my daughter off at daycare and walked away. And that was the hardest thing I ever had to do, and I'm still trying to pick up the pieces. Like, I know she's better off because I didn't know how to play with my own child because of cerebral palsy, and nobody would help me, so I did the next best thing. I gave her the help, and I haven't seen her in 5.5 years, and when I put Jordan May into foster care, I lost all my benefits, and like mother's allowance, everything like that, and I came down here, and I was staying in the shelters, and then when I started getting my shoes stolen off my feet, I started coming around this area where I ran into everybody that I hang out with now, and they've always taken care of me. Like, I'm still a fish out of water down here compared to everybody else. Everybody else that I know that's been on the streets, they've been on the streets for decades. I believe that one of the true things behind homelessness is addiction, mental stability and addiction, and just not giving a shit because nobody else gave a shit. They need to be loved. A lot of people don't believe they're any good because they've been told their entire lives that they're a piece of shit. And they're not. They just have to realize that. And it's really hard in this world when there's not many people motivating people in the right direction. Usually people are motivating people in the wrong direction. But the government doesn't listen. They don't go, a lot of them, unlike you guys are coming around and making a difference and actually listening to us and try to making it better. The government should take cues from you guys, because it can happen to anybody. The blink of an eye, it happened to me. And give a homeless person 5 minutes and ask them why they're sitting there instead of making a snap judgment. Just stop and say hello. And it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference in a person's life just to say hello. It makes a big difference in a person's life just to say hello. It makes a big difference in a person's life just to say hello. You know, just don't ignore them.
My name's Rick. I'm from Illinois. I'm in Vegas. I've been homeless for about 6 months. 40 years old. Growing up, good family, strong foundation. Dad was a welder at John Deere. Mom was a waitress. Life was great. Of course, when you're a teenager, you party, you drink, you do a lot of stupid stuff. But at the end of the day, when you become a senior, you get your high school diploma, you enter the workforce, which I did. I followed in my father's footsteps. I went into factory work and on into heavy equipment industry. I quit my job to take care of my parents. When they both passed away, I came to Vegas. I had money in my pocket. I stayed in a motel, filled out applications, stayed in a motel, filled out the applications. Unfortunately, phone calls didn't come, money ran out. The only option was to hit the streets. That transition was hard. I ended up walking for 3 days because I didn't know where I could eat, didn't know where I could sleep, I didn't even know who to talk to. But just happened to talk to one individual. His name was Jimmy Dykes, and he's gone now. He died on the streets. But he showed me the ropes, showed me where to sleep, where to go to get food, and he showed me a lot of things. You develop a family on the streets, and sometimes that's even closer than your own family. The people you sleep with, the people you break bread with, they watch your back, you watch their back, because it's a game of survival out here. There's a lot of fights, mostly it is alcohol related or just the stress of being outside. And the depression of being outside, because it is stressful, it is depression. I think that affects everybody. I think they're all good people. It's just you're in a situation that it's hard to get out of. There's not enough out there to get you off the street. There's really not. You have the programs, but they're not designed to get you off the streets. They're designed to keep you out there. What I really want to get across here is to let society know that just because you're homeless doesn't make you a bad person. There are people who drink, and there are people who do drugs, but that's everywhere in the world. But there are a lot of people out here who don't drink, don't do drugs. They're trying to do all the right things. But society just doesn't give them that break. Filling out applications, if you don't have a roof over your head, they don't want to look at you. If you don't have clean clothes, they don't want to talk to you. Like I say, the only way they can change the homeless population is, one, bring back the jobs, send them overseas, let the American people have it. You're closing down factories where people have worked for 30 years and sending the product overseas. What? Are we supposed to sell our homes and follow it? No, I don't think so. Can't do that. Bring back the American jobs. Quit going to wars so we have such a high deficit. Raise the minimum wage. Heck, we got gasoline to where it costs at least half of 1 hour's wage. People can't make it. Put a homeless man in office and see some changes. Seriously. Take somebody who's been down and out and put them in office and you'll see some changes. We can't completely blame the government for homelessness because people make choices. And they're not always good ones and they're not always bad ones. Something leads you to this. Now, the rest of society and your government would probably tell you it's because of alcohol and drugs. I have to disagree with that. Take the time to get to know the people, know their stories. You'll find a solution.